Greetings, sinners, and welcome to the fifth episode of the Hellside Motel podcast. I am once again your host, Easter, and we are continuing our discussion on the seven deadly sins. So far, we have done pride, we have done wrath, we have done envy, and today we are going to be discussing the sin of greed. And basically, the sin of greed is basically wanting and desiring more, than what you need. Like also somebody who's focused on, material possessions, always basically wanting more than what they need. A lot of people buy things that they don't really need, just to have it. Which basically it is a waste of money because, like, if you're never going to use that, then why spend all that money to get it? One example is like somebody who's always hungry and greedy for money. Basically somebody who doesn't care who they hurt. It happens in a lot of movies, like villain is terrorizing a village, just to basically steal their money and not caring about how hard those people have to work to earn their money. And, those people are just trying to make a living for themselves. Because, you need money to pay your bills, you need money to buy food and stuff, and, things you need. But when you're allowing the money, when you're allowing yourself to be greedy for money, it's going to change who you are. And, that's wrong. That desire for money, it'll change who you are and make you into somebody that you're not. And also somebody who's greedy for power. A good example, it's always a good example to go to movies because there's lots of examples of greedy villains and the villain who's greedy for power. They're wanting to do anything they can in order to get this power. And it involves, killing people or lying or stealing or spreading lies. There's all kinds of examples of somebody being greedy. And one thing to try to overcome greed, and it is hard, as with all the sins, is like one thing somebody has to realize is that, there's nothing wrong with wanting things. But, don't let it change who you are. Always, live within your means and not to allow greed to consume you. Because if you allow greed to consume you, it's going to affect how you treat people and also how you view yourself. As with life, look around at the world. Greed is going to make people do terrible things because it makes people want more than what they need. And it's sad and it'll evolve how they treat people. And, the world doesn't need that. There's too much hate and everything in the world. So always, try to be nice to somebody. Brighten somebody's day. Because if you don't, there's always room down here with us sinners. Like I've said before, we are awfully lonely. And we would love to have you down here with us, you greedy sinners. Yes, you greedy sinner. Don't allow greed to consume you. If you live well beyond your means, if you're constantly desiring things that you don't really need, but just because you want it, because you feel it will elevate your status in life, you will find yourself down here with us if you do not change your ways. And hey, there's lots of fire down here, sinners. And you'll have a nice barbecue with your greedy self. So until next time, sinners, we will see you later. And also, if you have loved our little podcast, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. and also leaving a comment. I would love to hear it, sinners. I would love to hear it. But please keep all comments respectful, and please no hate comments. And remember, don't let greed change who you are. Try to live, within your means. And try not to have just a bunch of items that you don't really need just to have it. And remember to always treat people with respect. Goodbye, sinners, and I will see you later.